Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. This is your daily news, so let's jump right in. Headline, this is funny because the community actually called it. Elon Musk plans artificial intelligence startup to rival OpenAI. And the reason why I say the community called it is there was a letter that came out with saying, hey, AI is a little bit dangerous, we should pause it. And Elon Musk was like, yo, I am the first to sign that letter. And people in the community were like, you know what this really means? Elon Musk wants everyone else to pause their development so he can catch up. And turned out the community was right. So kudos to people who talk about these kind of things. And this is sort of why we have a community. So when I saw that headline, I was like, yep, you guys called it. So awesome there. This was actually an interesting one as well. Elon Musk calling for more price cuts. This is in Europe, right? So, and I get it. If you're a Tesla bull, Elon cuts prices, he's a genius. Elon raises prices, he's a genius. Elon doesn't do anything, he's a genius. I get it. Me personally, I think Tesla's overvalued. It is what it is. I'm just giving you guys the facts. So I give you my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours as well. But they are cutting prices in Europe. And, when I see that, I don't know, my opinion, like I don't know how that would be good. If you invest in a company, you want them to make money, right? And essentially you want them to sell products at a profit. And if they're cutting prices, means they're decreasing their margins. I understand the fact that you could say, oh, Chris, you're so dumb. They're going to sell more cars. Yes. So maybe if they can do volume, that might be a thing. But the reality is they are cutting prices, and we'll see. They're going to report their earnings soon. I just don't personally think this bodes well. But, like I said, everyone usually has their mind made up on that kind of thing. And we'll just look at the numbers and see what it is. Tesla's down 43% the past year. Had a brilliant run from January, and we'll see what it does. You guys can see it for yourself. There's sort of this line in the sand that has got to figure it out what it's going to do, and I think earnings will probably determine that. If you ask the robots, this will say Tesla is 13% overvalued at the moment, but again, earnings is coming up very, very soon. I believe it's next Wednesday. You guys can correct me, but I know it's coming up, so I will keep an eye. In the other EV news, Rivian had a tough day today. This is just on the day, it's like down 7%. I think on the year, it's like 60-some% down or something of that nature, or even more. But Rivian's having a tough time, and I saw that Lucid's having a tough time as well. There's just only so much space for these kind of companies, and when people are not buying said things, it may be tough for everyone to survive. And this is something that like happened in the .com bubble where there was this massive internet craze and all these new companies were popping up. Because yes, it was the future, 100%. I totally agree that electric vehicles are the future, but can all of these companies survive into the future? Maybe not, right? New ones may pop up. Some old ones may, get into the race, like be it, your GM, your Ford, your Volkswagen, Mercedes, BMW, Hyundai, Kia, all sorts of things. It's going to be a competitive landscape, and we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, some of the newer players like Rivian may struggle. In terms of the market as a whole, it may be flat. You guys can see this right here, right? So this is the S&P. In the past year, it's down 6%, but roughly flat. Yes, it is true. We've been on an upward trend. I can see it for myself. Like you guys can all see it. I'm just looking at numbers here. But yeah, we're kind of reaching that sort of line in the sand. Again, it's kind of related to Tesla. And the question I always ask is, okay, if you are bullish, what are the sort of factors that make you feel like, okay, companies are going to make more money, people are going to be putting money into the market. Like, what are the factors? And I'm just not necessarily seeing it. That's just me. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean the sky is falling and you have to throw all your money in the bank of mattress or throw all your money in the, gold, these kind of stuff. Because I know other channels, they promote those kind of things. And the reason why is because they make money selling you either their services, saying, hey, it's raining, buy my umbrellas, or hey, the only thing you need is gold and buy my gold, right? Those kind of things. People have an incentive for these kind of things. And I just try to tell you an honest opinion and to show you numbers. Like you guys can literally see it for yourself, what the market's doing in the past year. So not just, just making random stuff up. There's that kind of line in the sand right there. Now, also too, I want to emphasize there are other things out there. And this is sort of why you kind of do different things with your money, right? So, you can do the treasury. What is this? 3 month is a 5%. You got 12 month at 4.79, 2 year at 4%. Savings accounts are actually not bad. And the other thing too, which I want to be thinking about as well, paying down your debt, making sure your job is secure. I know I talk a holistic thing, but I want you to be realistic about all this stuff, and want to keep you guys calm, and so you're prepared for whatever life throws at you, because you never know. I'll give you an example. We've been watching the dollar to won exchange, so I'm in Korea, as you guys know. And this is a big one for me. I mean, we watched the dollar, and it's interesting because it's at 13.04, so it's up 6% in the past year, and this has been an interesting one. I think it hit the peak to 14 something, like 14.40, and I remember we were like, oh my god, we've never seen that high for a long time. It was since 2000. I think it might be maybe 15 years ago or something like that. It's in cycles where the dollar goes. And it was yesterday, the dollar was really kind of going down. It was under 1,300. But this is sort of where we are. Which way are we going to go? Is this the bottom? Et cetera. I'm keeping an eye on this one because it affects sort of the market is predicting what's the Fed going to do in these kind of things, and also affects imports and exports. So I do keep track of these things. Going back to understanding the Tesla and what are the positive, things that could be. One thing that stood out to me today, there was a headline here, you guys can see it. Retail sales report shows America's pulled back on big ticket purchases as interest, rates rise, right? So it's not hard to understand if rates go up, people may be like, you know what, I don't want to pay 15% interest on a car loan, these kind of things, right? The amount of cash available to be lent, and also to the risk that lenders want to take may be down, right? And then on top of that, so lending will be down, and on top of that, consumers look at the cost to borrow money and it's just not worth it. Now this is an interesting chart. This is a retail spending, so this is from February to March, so this would be a month over month. So people are spending less at gas stations, but it has to do more with gas prices. So not necessarily, you could also a combination of, people driving less, but gas prices are down. Now, department stores, that's not necessarily a relation to, department store prices are down, just maybe people are spending less. Same with electronics and appliances. So we know that a bunch of people today during the pandemic bought all of your, home improvement stuff because you're at home. And it'll be tough for these sort of things to come back. How often do you need to buy a washer and dryer? How often do you need to buy a new TV? Although to be fair, regarding the TV situation, 4Ks are pretty cool. I have seen that the 8Ks, they have them all over here in Korea. They are pretty dang cool, but they're expensive. I think they're in the $10,000 to $20,000 range, which is a lot, considering that you can get and these are the top of the line, the OLED, 8K kind of stuff. When you you can get a really, really nice 4K these days. What is it, $1,000 or $2,000? And you guys would know if you're in the market for this stuff. And this is sort of, what's the deal is, again, cost to borrow money is up. And so do people want to make these big ticket items, home improvement, cars, furniture, this kind of stuff is all down month over month. And then you can take a look at year over year. It's also down, right? So it looks like this past month was definitely a decrease in activity in those big purchase items. Now, with groceries up, and then online shopping is also up. One thing I thought was interesting is Apple here, they're saying they're going to have a new Mac out or something like that. There were reports, we looked at them, I think it was a couple weeks ago, they were talking about, is Apple coming out with a new headset or not? There were conflicting reports, right? So the rumor was that they were developing it, and that, since they developed it, they might as well introduce it. And the other one was like, well, they may develop it, but they just don't think consumers are going to be interested in that kind of thing in this economic environment. But this one is saying they may be coming with new MacBooks. If you guys remember, there was a report, it was just a couple of days ago, that's saying that their Mac sales were down 40%. So I find this one actually really quite interesting. Now, to be fair for Apple, changing the size of the screen or anything like this may be such low R&D for them that you might as well just release a new thing. But you do have to change all your factories to have a new die cut, etc. So we'll see. And I'm a big Apple fan, you guys know. And I'm just telling you the truth. Their new chips, those M chips, are really good. I mean, really, really good. So I think one of the things that is a trick for them is, and this is something for any of these companies, is you want to develop a good product, but not so good that people, won't buy a new one for a while. Like if you have a cycle of people buy new products once every 5 years, it makes it tough. So that's why Apple always come with these ways to get you to buy a new one every year, be it, battery it can't replace, or, software updates that don't work with the old machines, etc. They'll come up with something, but I thought this was pretty interesting. They're coming up with new things. Other big headlines today were the biggest banks are making money. So that's your JP Morgan, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, etc. And then the smaller banks are having a tough time. So JP Morgan was up. This is on the year 9%. I think on the day it was 7%. So really made some big gains, and essentially you'd have a lot of outflows from the mid-sized banks and then inflows into these bigger ones. And one of the big discussions is what's going on with Charles Schwab. So this is a sensitive topic, and the reason why I mentioned sensitive is because me personally, I don't like the big banks. I've always preferred these smaller banks / online banks, mostly because I think customer service is better. They got lower fees, these kind of things. But right, if you are one of these banks and you're offering, say, better savings accounts and you're offering, low fee stuff or in fact free kind of things, it's hard to make money. So then what you have to do is you have to make money on giving people auto loans and these types of things. And then if the credit markets tighten up, it just becomes tough. And then also too, if people are pulling deposits from your bank and you're underwater on said things, we could have a bit of problems in these size of banks, and then more money goes to the big ones, and the big banks that is, control more of the market. So I'm not thrilled about that. I hope these sort of, regional banks would consider, in terms of from a customer point of view, like a Charles Schwab, to stick around. I don't think there's any panic yet. However, there was reports that some of their big investors were pulling out. Who knows? I'm just telling you guys what the news is. Like I said, I just hope we don't go to the system to where, there's only big banks and they control everything, because then there's a monopoly on fees and stuff like that. I'm sure you guys understand. Other things that are going on in France, I guess Macron, they are indeed going to raise their retirement age. We've talked about this story, and I'd love to hear from people who watch this channel in Europe, sort of, especially in France or otherwise, how are the mood over there? And, because when I see pictures, I'm not in France, I can't tell, but when I see pictures, it looks like people are unhappy with it, which I understand that. And essentially, this is just how it is. It's not just France, but many countries around the world. There's not enough workers for all the people who are retired, and people are living longer, right? So, I don't think it's crazy to, try to figure out a way to make sure your system is solvent and raise the age, but, obviously workers there see it differently. So I guess it's really unpopular to do that. Also going forward too, you're going to see these kind of, bearish things, case for 22% drop in the S&P. And this is sort of why, make videos like, say, yesterday, these kind of things to where, I can't tell you exactly what it's going to do, right? I tend to be more bearish because I just don't see, where the positives are. And so, me personally, I'm not just stressing out all day, every day, because I'm relying on any one thing. That's why I tell you guys about multiple things, right? Make sure you secure your job, make sure you're paying on your debt, these sort of stuff. And yes, there will be opportunities. Now, according to this one, this was an FS investment. I think he was calling for a 3,200 in the S&P, something like that, to bottom out. But there's a couple combinations of what are companies' earnings going to come in at, and then where is the Fed going to be. There's been some sort of rumors now that there may be a hike in June. At least the odds are higher. This is according to here. This is essentially we know that probably they're going to raise it in May. That's word on the street, about 25 basis points, and then maybe in June. I told you guys before, maybe a pause. This is the odds are higher that they'll raise in June. I would tend to lean, just looking at the landscape at the moment, I would tend to say towards pause, but this is a fluid situation. And like I said, we'll see how earnings come out. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on any one of these things that we talked about. Always enjoy sharing the news, and it's always funny to talk about Elon Musk. He's a genius no matter what he does, if you're a fan of them. So thanks again for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you next video.